G'day. I'm out on the back deck at the moment because we've had a power failure. Everything's off. So instead of sitting there watching YouTube movies, I thought I'd come out and make one. I'm a bit well known for having rants on Facebook, and I'm going to have a bit of a rant now about a couple of things that I've noticed about what people think are important with photography nowadays. And one of them is this idea of the perfect lens. Now, no secret, I'm using Fujifilm. I love Fujifilm. I think their lenses are fantastic. I love the ergonomics of the camera. Beautiful. But that suits me, okay? You might be into Nikon, you might be into Canon, you might be into Leica, you might be into I don't know, anything. Doesn't matter. What is it about a photograph that is actually worthwhile? And a photograph is made by the light passing through the lens of your camera onto your sensor nowadays, rather than film. So what's the important thing? Some people just get too carried away with, oh, the lens has to be sharp right out to the edges, and if one's lens is slightly sharper right in the extreme corner, then it's a better lens and you'll have better photos, and your photos will improve if you get that lens. Bunkum. Fair dinkum. So much rubbish talked about ultimate sharpness nowadays. Just think about your eyes. When you look at something, the only thing in focus is the little bit in the middle. The rest of it just blurs out into vague shapes and colours until you then look at them. Then they're sharp, and what you're looking at before is just this blurred, vague coloured shape. That's how your eyes work, and we think our eyes are great. But we expect our lenses to be perfect all the way out, all the time. So we have a better photograph. We're getting things really mixed up. You know, you can name big photographers from the past, and my personal favourite was Robert Frank, who only recently passed away. And what did they use? Well, some of them used old things like this. Not exactly state-of-the-art lenses and stuff, is there? There might only be one element in there or something. Now we're 18. What else do these guys use? Well, if they want lots of nice control, they might have used something like this, with your ASA controls and your shutter speed and your aperture, and very nice bit of kit. I watched a couple of docos on Robert Frank, and yeah, he did have some nice old style cameras in his day, but he would go to a shop and he would buy a disposable film camera and shoot with that for the day. He didn't care. He'd use something like this that I would pass up in an op shop as being, no, don't want that, thanks. Yeah, he used one of these. My God. He was one of the best photographers coming out of America. You know why? Not because his pictures were sharp to the edge, but because they told a damn story. You looked at them and you engaged with it. You thought, that's real life. I can see something here. You go through his book, The Americans. You go through a lot of his other photos that he took. You got people with their heads cut off. He angles down, you don't get the whole body. Totally blurred images. They're marvellous because they tell a story. And nowadays we freak out about, oh, it's a bit of blur there, it's no good. We need to restock what we're actually thinking about what makes a good photo. It's not a super sharp lens. What is your photograph telling people? Yeah, Robert Frank's book, The Americans. You go through that and there's iconic images, and I want to remember that you remember that word, iconic. What photographs of yours are going to be remembered, be iconic? I've taken thousands of photographs. I have them published. I'm an actual paid photographer. Crazy. But I do photo jobs every week. Okay? What am I going to be remembered for? I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of photos behind me, and I can't really think of one that's iconic. Hasn't happened. Probably one of the most remembered photos I've taken was of a wet leaf. And I took it years ago with one of these 3.2 megapixel things. And I hope I'm not going to be remembered as, oh, he's the guy who took that photo of a wet leaf. Photos that tell a story are the ones that stick in people's minds. Many photos of Robert Franks. Then you've got Cappa, taking the Normandy invasion. You look at the photos he sent back, none of them are sharp. All of them are blurred, some of them heavily blurred. Light, highlights blown out, things like this. But they are iconic because they're telling a story, and it cuts right through your defences and you feel what's happening there. That is a good photograph. Isn't a sharp bit in there. It's all blurred. Fantastic. He's well remembered for those. So forget about having a better, sharper lens. Concentrate on taking a decent damn photograph. Something that tells a story. Something that reaches people. That's what you'll be remembered for. Now, Greg Carrick Rant Part 2. I'm currently the president of the Yarra Ranges Photographic Society. And I'm having a blast. Great mob of people, great group. If you're local to the area, go and join. You learn a lot. They're great people to get on with. I've seen a lot of judging nights going on, evaluation nights some clubs call them, where you put your photos up and you get an outside person come in to evaluate them or judge your pictures, and all these judges are a bit different. They all seem to have a hobby horse of some sort. Some of them, they peer at the picture, pixel sharp, he says. You think, whoa, every picture he comes pixel sharp. He's very concerned about sharpness across the whole image. Another one I've seen, he hates, he won't admit this, but this is what comes out. He hates shallow depth of field, where your main subject is in focus and your foreground and background are out of focus. Well, he doesn't like that. If I put a picture up where I've meant to have a shallow depth of field to highlight a subject and have good bokeh or whatever you want to call it, I don't want the judge coming up and saying, oh, look at all that foreground, it's all out of focus, like that's a fault. No, it's meant to be like that. Get away from my photos. If you can't remember that, you look at the photo and you see, what is the person trying to tell me here, and how's he getting this across? If he's getting it across by using shallow depth of field, or vignetting in the corners, or extreme darkness on one part of the picture and light on another, that's what he's doing to tell the story that the photograph is there for. You don't criticise that, because that's part of the whole photograph. That's what makes the photograph. It's not a fault. It's supposed to be like that. And if the photographer is meant to do that, that's how you judge it. Forget all this pixel sharp stuff. What is the photograph telling you? The story is more important than the pixel sharpness. Okay, so judges can be funny. Luckily I'm a good humoured sort of guy. I sit there and smile, go, well. And don't take judging too seriously. One judge will really like your image, and you put it in front of another judge and they'll walk straight past it. Because they're all different, they're all human. You might like your photo, that's important, that's great. Doesn't matter if Judge A likes it, Judge B doesn't like it. They're just another person. Who are you taking your photograph for? If you're taking a photograph to score points at evaluation nights and everything, well, get another hobby, really. You're not really enjoying your photograph. But if you're taking photographs so that you can hang them on the wall and enjoy them and smile at them as you go past and let them tell you the story in the picture, that's healthier. Okay, that's a good way and a good reason to take photographs, not to rack up points at judging nights. So doesn't matter whether you've got the sharpest lens out there, doesn't matter if you're using the latest and greatest camera from Nikon, Canon, Fuji, whoever. You can use one of these or a disposable film camera. Just get out there and have fun. Okay? Cheers.